We are Steve and Naz, and we love traveling in our self-converted camper van. Come along with us and welcome to Old Living. Morning everyone, how are you doing? In the last video, you guys watched us driving from Osoyoos all the way to Princeton, where we spent the night. Our plan for today is to go to the town of Chilliwack. We feel like summer has ended too soon and all the leaves are falling. There are trees that turn different colors, and that's awesome. Especially the maple trees with all the red and yellow leaves. It's gorgeous.
So we have stopped off for a break outside the Manning Park Provincial Park Visitor Center. It's closed, so it's closed for the season. But it's really interesting as you drive by. You see a lot of these really dead trees with lots of brush and things that could catch on fire. And then just recently we saw some trees that had caught on fire, and you'd think that they would remove some of these trees that have a lot of fire hazard, but they don't seem to. So I don't know why they don't do it, because BC especially is notorious for fires. So if anyone knows why, let us know.
When you travel all the time in your camper van, you learn to work with the weather to enjoy the best of each season. In the summer, we try to maximize our outdoor time when it's not too hot. In the winter, we do the same. We sneak out of the van when it's not raining. BC can have extensive rainy winter days, and for that, we have a big umbrella. It's important for us to keep exercising regardless of what the world outside our van walls look like. Each and every season brings different dynamic into our lives, and we all need to remind ourselves not to be anxious about it. And I'm not only speaking about the weather. In times of change, I always think of Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 to 8 that says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up which was planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance." And it goes on. It is normal to experience changes in our lives and make adjustments for them. Like when your van needs a new battery, for example, and you gotta learn how to replace it yourself. Welcome to our storage building. Yes, we have a ton of stuff here. Let me show you closer. But before I do, if you don't know us, my husband and I started traveling full-time in our self-converted camper van in the beginning of the pandemic. I'm not gonna say the name here. We used to travel a lot, and we decided we didn't want to pay rent anymore. Everything that we were not able to sell or give away at the time ended up here. So that's almost 3 to 4 years ago. During all those years, we have been paying storage. The money that goes wasted in storage, you could almost buy everything new again. Almost. So we have a lot of stuff to give away here. This is giveaway, this is to keep, this is giveaway. We are basically just keeping family memorabilia and other things that for now we want to keep, but a lot of it is going. So that's a suitcase probably with clothes inside, and we have a lot of other junk here. I am a big fan of storage wars, and I always watch and think, oh shame, the person that used to own the locker probably died or for some reason couldn't pay for it. Nowadays I wonder, were they just fed up with sorting out all the junk and just left it there and stopped paying? I guess some people do get tempted. Let's say I would much rather not be doing this right now. We already cleared a lot of things. Just look at this, guys. Never buy too much stuff. It's hard to get rid of. So this is a monitor I already listed on Facebook Marketplace. Here we have a Battleborn battery, which we are selling. Here we have a telescopic ladder we're trying to sell, and a lot of things. We have some empty boxes, tubs. A lot of this tub, if not all of it, is my stuff, like drawing. This is back from college, so there is a lot of stuff here. But this, 9 years ago, when Steven and I got married, this was part of my bouquet. So I had yellow roses and gypsophils in my bouquet, and this is one of the roses that survived, so we keep it with a lot of love and affection.
Well, this is what I packed away, and it is an old Mac laptop, but this is probably got some of the worst. Engine coolant fluid.
Yeah, for you guys who are new, we actually, before we traveled to Africa, we had engine fluid on top of some of our stuff, and it leaked for a long time.
Yeah, when you're packing, never pack tons of stuff and put the engine fluid on top, because chances are the engine coolant fluid is going to leak over tons of your belongings. And as you can see, the engine coolant
drenched.
Stain.
We have a hard drive that's drenched. We are gonna try rescue it, but I don't think there is any hopes for that one. As you guys can see, we progressed a ton. The storage is almost empty. We're just taking a few things that we want to keep, and those things are giveaways. Yep. That's like, it's like a dream finally coming true. It took us days, if not years, to get rid of everything that was in there. That's why we're gonna be really cautious of what we buy, because you can overbuy. To get rid of everything is a waste of money and time. And anyways, it's a big accomplishment. With the storage finally emptied, it's time for our next big adventure. Driving from British Columbia, Canada to Mesa, Arizona, known for being one of the hottest states in the US. On a trip that lasts about 26 hours, we estimate it will take us 5 days, driving about 5 hours a day, passing through 4 states being Washington, Oregon, California, and finally Arizona. When we arrived in the US, we spent a few days in Washington to visit some loved ones, and after that we continued our trip. We passed through Portland and crossed the Interstate 5 Bridge, also known as the Columbia River Interstate Bridge, which connects Washington and Oregon, marking the first state border of our trip. Three hours later, we stopped at a rest area in Oregon, about 3 hours away from California. The facilities were really nice, and they even had hot water to wash our hands, which is a plus. We then arrived in California, marking our third state in one day. We were surprised by the thick fog in several places, which made driving a little harder. After finding a place to stay for the night, we continued our journey the next day. Since California is one of the biggest states in the US, it would take us almost 3 days to drive across it. Along the way, we saw the incredibly beautiful Mount Shasta, a volcanic mountain that stands at 14,179 feet tall, or about 4,321.8 meters. Its beauty stayed with us until just before we were surprised by more fog on the road. And this wouldn't be the last time. We encountered fog several times as we passed through Northern California, which has a colder climate, very similar to BC and Washington State. California is also known for its rice farms, and we passed many of them. Finally, we arrived in Sacramento, California. Sacramento is known for its history during the gold rush, and is also the fastest growing big city in California, famous for its museums, parks, and food. It also has an old historical area that feels like the Old West, though we didn't pass through it. That's one big regret. Downtown Sacramento has a really cool mix of old and new. The streets downtown are pretty walkable with a lot of places to shop and grab a bite, and the area felt busy with people walking around but not chaotic. Although you can hardly see people on the camera, it didn't capture the people very well. And because Sacramento is pretty bike friendly, you will see a lot of people on bikes and scooters zipping around, and we didn't film that too. I wonder if that changes when it's too cold though. At least to me, it has a mix of Seattle and Vancouver in Canada, and it looks like those big American cities that you watch on movies.
Street.
5:36 in the morning and preparing to go. You can see the cars on the highway, and that's where we're heading. We have already hit the road. We stopped for some fuel, and dear Steven's cleaning the windshield so that you guys can see some beautiful footage.
Good morning, and an early good morning to you guys. We are driving in California and we are on our way to Arizona. We woke up early this morning, tried to get in some traveling. The trip from Seattle area to Phoenix, Arizona is about 23 hours. So it is a long drive, guys. And we're kind of learning how to do long drives in America. And waking up early is part of that.
And filling up, as you see, a fuel station because you don't know when the next one's gonna be. You can see that pointer going down pretty quickly.
We passed through the mountains and it was rainy part of the time, tons of rain. Now, as you can see, we are in beautiful sunny California.
The sunny part of California. We're kind of in between right now. Last night, I could still see people wearing their jerseys and sweatpants inside the supermarket, which is a huge difference from Canada. In Canada, everybody wearing their heavy jackets. Like, we have our heavy jackets right here. I had my rain boots on me and I switched for my sneakers to go into Walmart. Wow, what a change. So the weather is definitely getting warmer. Definitely. And look at that. Wow.
So we're driving next to the mountains now. There's kind of these hilly mountains on your right, and there's orchards on both sides. They grow lots of fruit and different things in California. We passed olive trees, rice fields.
Oh, rice fields, yes. We haven't seen Lumberg yet, hey? We saw Chico's. Is that
Chico's rice, yes. They were growing Chico's rice on the way. And there were tons of birds, obviously feasting on those rice grains.
But yeah, look at these mountains. How beautiful they are. Wow. So we are driving through the I-5. We skipped San Francisco, which is a pity. I would love to see the Golden Gate Bridge, but it would take too long. It was like 2 hours off our route. And we haven't hugged the coast, mostly because Google Maps did not help us at all. We tried to set up a route along the coast, but hey, you guys can tell us how to do that. We failed miserably.
And also because this is a quicker route. We're wanting to get down to Arizona quickly, but it's a beautiful scenic drive still, even on I-5.
Even on I-5.
We'll try to take you up along the coast sometime.
Apologies if we can't.
We are so happy to leave the rainy weather of the Pacific Northwest and Canada.
Oh yeah.
Sunshine makes a difference.
Yeah, if you can do it, like if you like the type of weather, that's okay. But we are sunshine people. Steven is from South Africa. I'm from Brazil. We are like lizards of the desert. We like the heat. What can we do?
Heat is one thing, but
yeah. We drove past some rice fields and it was so cool. I thought they were salt flats because in Namibia you would see salt flats sometimes covered by water, sometimes dry. We didn't happen to see Lumberg, so I thought we might just drive through their fields, which didn't happen.
Chico's rice.
Chico's. I have never seen Chico's before, but now probably when we see it on the... You have? I haven't. I would like to try now that I've seen the plantation.
And there were tons of birds. Yeah, they were feasting off something. Maybe there were actually worms there. I don't know. But one of the cool things about sunny weather in California is citrus trees. So we're excited to pass some citrus trees. I think they were clementine or tangerine, or we call them nachis in South Africa, but I think you call them clementines here.
Or tangerines or something like that. We just driving through heavy fog or cloud or whatever. There is a ton of this here. Noticed a ton of fog once we entered California. It's quite beautiful actually. Get in and out portions of fog, almost as if we were going through tunnels. We just learned to expect them on the road now here in California. We have seen a lot of them many times. You come in, you come out, everything's fine. And honestly, it's quite beautiful. At least I find it quite beautiful. Burger. Of course, when in California, eat like the Californians. In-N-Out started here, didn't it?
Yes. Yes. Double meat, double cheese. Hamburger.
Okay.
I don't know if they're open.
They should be.
Maybe not. Doesn't seem to be open.
Head west toward Bernard Drive.
Oh yeah, there's someone there.
Is it open?
Seems to be.
Are you open? Are you open? What time? 10.
Okay.
Open at 10.
Oh, that's sad.
Listen to those birds. Oh, thank God for
like
sunny
an
weather.
oasis.
It's kind of tropical.
Wow, can you see the palm trees? The palm trees. Ah. So I saw an advert for this on the road. I didn't expect it to look like this. It's quite pretty. Paid $11 for a couple of folded eggs and a couple of steaks at McDonald's.
Kind of pricey for what it is.
Back on the road and back into the fog again.
It's already desert environment, starting to be dry, and we're entering the mountains of Los Angeles, it seems, going over some passes, 1 or 2 passes, getting hot, getting very hot.
And I got insulated pants on. I'm gonna have to go to the back and change them.
We should probably turn down the heating on the car because it's very hot.
There's lots of these bushes on the side of the road. I don't know if they are sage or what, but they're pretty typical of desert vegetation. So that lake you guys saw with a pyramid on it is called Pyramid Lake. It's a reservoir for California, and that pyramid was actually carved by engineers. The lake was built in 1972 and finished in 1973, and it's the only home in the world for a species of fish called kui, something like that. I will put it on the screen. That lake, yeah. Pretty interesting. The things you see along the way. You can already see some Californian houses down there. Just look at all of that traffic. Someone we know told us to avoid Los Angeles due to traffic, but it seems like it's fine. So we reached a more Hispanic part of California.
San Bernardino.
The houses are more almost what you see in Brazil.
You could be in Mexico, actually.
Mexico, yeah. In Canada, a lot of the things that you see in the supermarkets, street signs, and you name it, will be in English and French, because Canada speaks English and French. In this part of California, there is a huge Spanish influence, so there is a lot of things that are in Spanish. Like we just saw a street sign that was in Spanish. I'm finding this pretty interesting. There is always a traveler on the road. We started to see different foliages and trees and you name it. We even drove past some bougainvillea. That reminds us of Brazil and South Africa. It's wonderful to see different types of trees, really.
Destination is on the right.
We stopped for some burrito bowls from Chipotle. What do you have there, Habi?
This is smoked brisket, but boy, is it spicy. Woo.
Mine is spicy too. I got carne asada. So we just passed through the city of Azusa.
So in downtown Los Angeles, there's an Azusa Street, and that's where one of the famous Christian revivals happened.
Yes.
In one of the churches there. The Holy Spirit visited people in a phenomenal way.
So actually a big revival started in Brazil because missionaries that left the Azusa Street and went to Brazil. So yeah, that's how it all started, and that's why it's so important. Like, it blesses my heart. I wish we would really be able to go there, but unfortunately it's quite far. Maybe one day, who knows.
Now, if this traffic is like this on the weekend, just imagine in the weekday. You wouldn't want to drive by here in the weekdays. It's like townhouses in Capital, but Californian version.
We seem to be getting more into the desert now. We still have 3 hours and 13 minutes to Arizona. Morning. We spent the night at a casino parking lot. Just a parking lot. We don't gamble. And it was a pretty noisy spot, but we were able to sleep very well.
It was great. It was great. I went to sleep, what, about 7? 7? Something like that. And now we're up early to get going. Let's get going.
We still have about 3 hours and 47 minutes to go. Someone even set up their Starlink. Casinos are like truck stops, a lot of them, and it was our first time staying at one, and to be honest, initially we were like, we don't know what kind of people will be there, but there were other travelers, other RVers, truck drivers, and that made us feel a little safer. It was an interesting experience, to be honest. Here on the left-hand side is Joshua Tree National Park. We are gonna find some time to come explore it and show this to you guys. It's something that's on our list, and it would be really amazing to be able to come. What a beautiful morning desert ride. I kind of forgot that we are driving through the desert. It's official, the sun is starting to rise. It's gonna be beautiful. Crossing the Arizona border, and as you can see right now we have a lot of bushes. We actually drove past a very dry, barren area through the desert with no trees whatsoever, but now we can see some trees, some palm trees, but I believe that as we drive closer to Arizona the trees will start to disappear and we are gonna be left with a lot of bushes. So let's see. Woohoo! Welcome to Arizona! Wow! The Grand Canyon State. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh, can you feel the sun warmer here?
There's a fuel station right on the border, and I think it's about rather cheaper, roughly, than
per gallon?
California per gallon.
This year reminds me of when we were driving to the oasis in Namibia. It's very similar to that type of terrain. This whole trip went better than expected. We thought we were gonna spend 5 days to arrive here. We only spent 4, which is wonderful. Here on the right hand side is what I believe to be some BLM land. There are tons of trailers, motorhomes, all sorts of people just camping. And this is very attractive. I think we should do this sometime too. Come right here and camp and watch the sunrise and the sunsets, drinking a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It's just a beautiful location to be camped out. There are some cactus or cacti. I need to get used to saying cacti. It sounds pretty weird on my head, but wow, what a place to be in. And we stopped here at Love's to fill up the car because our pointer is really down. Doing a lot of driving requires a lot of fill-ups and a lot of money. But hey, Arizona will be cheaper than California because Arizona is not taxed as high on a lot of things. Our tank is almost empty.
2.8 per gallon.
Okay.
Which in California it went, I think at one time we paid 3.8
3.8, something like
per
that.
gallon.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a change. So we paid a little over $51 for 17 gallons, which is not bad compared to California. One of the fun facts about Arizona is that the winter here is pretty mild. The winter here would almost be summer, let's say in Washington. Almost, not quite. Its population here pretty much doubles. I don't know if it's the whole of Arizona, but I know that a lot of retirees come here from December to February. And if you are looking at staying in RV parks, good luck. Most of them are 55 plus. If you want a family RV park, then you are looking at all ages campgrounds. We ordered some stunning breakfast. Shared a steak with 3 eggs, rye toasts, a side salad, and an extra burger patty. And it was so delicious. It was such a sweet family restaurant. Everybody there were very sweet. And the lady working there told us how to get here to this BLM place. BLM stands for Bureau of Land Management. It's basically a place to come and camp and spend the day. So there are tons of people here camping, and you saw them earlier because we showed you. So anyway, she taught us how to get here, and we got here, and Steven's probably gonna have a little sleep because it's been a long drive. Come out to have a look here. Welcome to the desert. Hardly any trees, but hey, I like this type of environment. I like it, I really do. So it turns out we were wrong about this place being free. It's actually paid, but it's very cheap. It's like
$40 for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks,
So
yeah.
it's about $80 for a month.
That's what you get at RV parks per day.
There are free places as well, but these places are slightly more managed.
Yes, so we were actually talking to the couple that manages the gate. They were giving us a ton of tips, you know, on everything here in Arizona and stuff. It's always good to learn from fellow travelers. So Jean and Vicky, if you're watching, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you.
So the population of Courtside is usually about 2,400. And it increases over the winter time. So throughout the year, apparently it goes up to 1 million, maybe not quite that high, where people visit throughout the year. But from 2,400 to probably up towards 1 million is a pretty good increase in population.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Because of all the RVers that come through here in the winter time especially.
Wow.
In the summertime it gets really hot.
Yes. They were telling us that last summer about 15 people died because of the heat. Here in the desert and RV campgrounds, it's pretty sad. You gotta watch out for the heat.
About 45 minutes from Mesa, and you can see some signs of life.
We've been driving for very, very, very long time, to a point that I even stopped filming because I think you guys would get tired from seeing so many mountains. It's gonna be good to stretch our legs sometimes, either here or Mesa. Wow, we're driving downtown Phoenix and we're driving through high rises and palm trees and taller trees. Look how beautiful this is.
Yeah, it's a very clean looking city, people
Yes,
said.
it is. Overall, our first impressions of Phoenix is that it's a very large city, very spaced out, clean, beautifully set up with beautiful high rises, and it's just overall the architecture, it's quite beautiful. Nice colored spaghetti junctions and you name it. Not to mention the bougainvilleas on the side. Wow, Steven and I come from countries where bougainvillea is a thing, so seeing them here again, it's quite a treat, to be honest. We have been driving around and having a feel of Mesa, Arizona, and boy, it's quite a beautiful city. Nicely organized, clean, very much like, I would say, Phoenix, but a little less built up. The roads are wide. I think I would just let you guys see it because images can show more than words. So we had a drive around Mesa, and the neighborhoods are very cute. Some of the houses have walls. We don't know if it's because of a security reason or it's just cultural. Mesa has a huge Hispanic influence, and you notice that on the food, the music they play inside restaurants and supermarkets. And for me, being a Brazilian, we speak Portuguese in Brazil. We don't speak Spanish at all, but we can understand a lot of what the Hispanic people are saying, and that for me is really fun. Mesa seems to be a very clean city. The roads are very wide, even in neighborhoods. The colors of the houses and buildings vary between white and like a sort of reddish brown color. Although we are in the desert, they do a pretty good job at keeping trees, and some houses even have grass, which I guess it costs maybe a fortune to keep. If I'm wrong, you can tell us down in the comments, because I would think that in a place like this, water is pretty expensive. These are the first impressions of Mesa, Arizona. Arizona has also been the setting for many cowboy and Native American movies, with John Wayne, for example. It is the home to the famous and feared Superstition Mountains, which have inspired movies, documentaries, and books about the many legends surrounding them. But we're gonna cover that on another video. It was such a pleasure having you join us on this long journey. Any questions, compliments, or even critiques, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we will be more than happy to reply to you. Keep well, God bless, and bye-bye!